This is the Faders Up Podcast.
Welcome to the Faders Up Podcast. I'm Czar, and this is a podcast about pro audio and beyond. If you have a question you want answered on the podcast, you can reach us at fadersuppodcast@yahoo.com. You can join us on Instagram at Faders Up Podcast, and you can join the discussion for this episode and more on our Facebook group, Faders Up Podcast. And don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And all guests and hosts that appear on the show will be in the show notes. So I am back here again. No O'Shea or Desiree for this episode, but I've got a guest here. We've got Touchtone DSG in the building with us.
Yo, what's cracking, everybody? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. I always like to talk about how we met, and I believe we met at NAMM. Was it last year?
Yes, not this
the year
past
before
NAMM,
that.
the previous NAMM before that.
Is it 2023?
2023.
Okay, yeah, the off. Well, I guess we'll call it the off cycle NAMM. I don't know if that's what we're gonna unofficially call it, but yeah, the NAMM in April, which was really weird in a way.
Yes, it was. It felt weird, but yeah.
But yeah, definitely. At least they had it, because that COVID year, I think was it virtual? Something was virtual.
God. Yeah,
it was a virtual NAMM one year.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucked. Yeah,
it's like y'all should have just canceled it.
Right. Really. Try again next year.
Yeah.
Because Summer NAMM, they went ahead and did Summer NAMM, and that didn't go out so good. And you see what happened with that. R.I.P. to Summer NAMM.
Yeah, man. R.I.P. You know, they tried some things and they're like, it didn't work, you know, so let's get back to the regularly scheduled program for sure.
Right. So for those who don't know you, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I go by Touchtone DSG. That's the DSG stands for the Sound God. I've been in music. I've been producing and recording and mixing music now for a better part of 20 plus years. From Phoenix, Arizona. I've worked with artists from Jodeci, E40, Graydon Square, a bunch of local acts. I mean, I could go on. The list goes on and on. Went to the Conservatory, Recording Arts and Sciences, did my internship. Came back and the landscape had changed as far as engineers go, because during that time it was the crossover between digital and analog. So a lot of studios closed. So you had to maneuver differently. And this is the time that, what's that one website? Not SoundCloud, but where everyone used to sell the beats or whatever. I forget the name of the site, but SoundClick. And yeah, SoundClick those days. So you had to maneuver differently. And I just been doing things ever since, got my own YouTube channel now, doing pretty good numbers on Spotify. And I'm feeling a certain type of way about that now, because they changed their little policies over there. But yeah, man, and I just continue to work and get better. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right. Tell me a little bit about, what is this? CRAS?
Crass. Yeah.
I got accepted there. And kind of not at the last second, but I got accepted there. I was looking at going out there, and then it just kind of, I was like, man, I know nobody out there, and I don't know about this. And I ended up, so I'm from Memphis. I ended up going to Art Institute of Tennessee, Nashville, obviously in Nashville. And I was like, yo, if things go south, I'm only 200 miles from Memphis and I can get back home. But
right.
Yeah. Tell me how was that experience there?
So I went back in 2011, 2012, and the experience now, looking back on it, it's like I asked myself, would I go into debt for it now? The answer would be no. Now, but the experience was super cool, because in high school, man, I didn't try. I mean, I barely graduated just because I didn't care about high school. And then when I got to Crass, I graduated with a 4.0. Because it was something I was interested in. And the overall experience was a very positive one. I met a lot of lifelong friends there. Met a lot of connections, learned from some absolute Jedis when it comes to audio engineering and the business side of it. But the cost to ROI on that is like, it's like any other schooling. It's going to be much more expensive up front. So if you don't have the money lying aside, you're going to have to get some grants, some loans, and things like that. And me being more financially responsible now, I most likely wouldn't do that. But the experience itself was one of those things. I wouldn't say it was once in a lifetime, but it's one of those things. It's like going to NAMM every single day. You're around a bunch of like-minded people that think the same, and you're all working toward one goal. And that's kind of really cool.
Mm-hmm. Man, we've got a lot in common because I did the bare minimum in high school as well, just because I knew I had no intentions of going to college, because my beef with college is that high school is free. You can teach me whatever you want. College, I'm paying you, but I have to take classes that has nothing to do with what I want you to teach me. Like Correct. And part of the reason I chose Art Institute of Tennessee, Nashville is because, let's say I had 4 classes a quarter, 3 or 4 classes a quarter. 3 of those classes, let's say I had 4. 3 of those classes were audio classes. And then 1 class was like English, math, psychology, literature, whatever. Whereas with a traditional college, it's flipped. I had a friend that went to MTSU the same time I started Art Institute. And I don't know, let's say 6 months in, he calls me and is like, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, it's going great. I'm already in the studio. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, once I finish these classes, I'll get in the studio too, if I get in the program. I said, what do you mean if you get in the program? Like, you're paying them, right? You're paying them to teach you audio, but you mean if you get in the program. So I was like, no. At Art Institute, and I'm sure you, like I, had already taught yourself a lot on your own that really made school easy in a way. Like for me, the first 2 years, like the studio stuff, I knew a lot of that. The second 2 years was like TV and film, or audio for TV and film, audio for video games. Like that's the stuff I didn't know. I'm like, oh, let's learn that. I have no idea about that. But yeah, I loved Art Institute for that, because the majority of your class, like from day one, you're taking classes that has to deal with your major, and that's what I wanted. That's why I had no interest in going to a traditional college, because you're not making me take classes that has nothing to do with what I'm paying you to teach me.
Right. I share a lot of sentiments of your journey there. I had hit a glass ceiling with recording, and I had like completed an album, was recording other people's stuff, and I didn't quite know what and how to use compression. YouTube wasn't as vast back in 2011, 2012. It was hardly any information on that. EQs, why do you use them versus how do you use them? And just learning the lot of the philosophies when it comes to mixing. So I was hitting a glass ceiling with my recordings. I knew how I wanted it to sound, but I couldn't quite get it there. So yeah, when I went to Crass, a lot of the information I knew already, but it was like those little nuggets, those fill-ins. This is this type of compressor, and this is why this works this way. This is a VCA. This is an opto. This is a FET. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But then when it came to like live sound, recreating the Avatar movie in Pro Tools and lining that up, like that was foreign to me, but I learned a lot, especially about like, okay, video games, when someone steps on grass, it triggers this event. So then the grass sound would trigger on this. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't follow that, but it was cool to learn, and as far as like the music business, I didn't know hardly enough. And then when I went to Crass, they taught us about like just indemnifications, what perpetuity means. I didn't know that, so I've seen that in a couple contracts, like, oh, that's what that meant. All right, cool. and just learning that type of business. So then when you get out, you learn about split sheets, you learn about percentages and stuff, and you're better equipped to handle what comes your way. And I feel like that part of it now is extremely important because everything online is less about the art now and more about the business. I shouldn't say everything. That's such a generality, but a lot of the music stuff is about the business. So if you're going to upload something to DistroKid and it's a remix, you better learn the laws. You better learn the copyright laws. You better learn like all of the stuff that you need because you open yourself up for exposure and you're not really protecting your investment and something you poured a lot of time into just because you didn't take the time to learn that.
Message.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to get into our regular segment of who's been pushing Faders Up when we briefly discuss what we've been working on. So I have been, I just got it today, but I'm going to be reviewing the IK Multimedia iRig Stream Mic Pro, which is a USB mic that not only works with Mac and Windows, but it also works with iOS and Android. And I want to check this out because so when I go to NAMM and I try to do some content, like the last couple of years, I've taken interface, condenser mic, like all of that. And I was thinking like, man, if I had a good USB mic, I'll have no need for the interface and, just a whole lot, condensing and just packing less of what I need. So definitely looking forward to checking that out. And I see it also has an aux input as well. So I can run other sources into it. It's got loop back. It has a mute button on the front, which I find a lot of USB mics don't have.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, glad to really looking forward into checking that out. Can't say anything about it, but it might be out by the time this episode comes out, but I'm testing something new from Waves that all I'll say is it is not a plugin. So that's gonna be interesting to check out as well. That's what I've been working on. Yeah, that's really it. Like I was also finished reviewing the IK Multimedia Arc Studio, and then I think that's it. I feel like there's a plugin I'm missing. I should be getting the Kit plugins. Should be sending me soon. The stuff that they showed off at NAMM, which what do you call it? It's a drum software where they've sampled all the drum sounds and you can replace them. Blanking on what that is technically called.
Sweet.
That's interesting to see that coming from Kit plugins for sure. Touchtone, how you been pushing Faders Up?
So kind of the same. I got some things here that I'm reviewing. I just actually reviewed the Console 1 MK3 by Softtube. Man, I am really torn 80% in favor of that thing. I had the original Console 1 and there was some things that it was lacking, mainly using your ears. You had to be more of a visual person with that. With the MK3, I feel like they've solved that problem to where I can actually just use my ears. And once you get the muscle memory down of where everything is, it's on and popping. So there's a couple of cons that I said in the video there that I didn't like. And then there's a plugin right now by the Hill Company, some of their preamps that I'm actually reviewing. And I'm weird with my reviews because I like to get them first. And like, I like to spend about 3 weeks to a month on something and really pushing it and really just figuring out before I do the review. So that's going to be coming out soon here. And then I'm working on another review for Phoenix Audio, the N90s, the preamps, the 500 series. And those are just killer. I'm going to be just straight up. Yeah.
Say that again?
The N90s by Phoenix Audio, their 500 series.
Okay.
Yeah, man, those things.
The N90s, what is that?
That's their compressor.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeah.
Let me try to hold that thought. I missed what you said because I was going to say something off what you previously said. You said preamps from the Hill Company?
Yes, the preamps from the Hill Company. So they have some hardware, and what they did is they emulated the preamps from the hardware. And I'm not even joking when I tell you this. These are probably the best sounding preamp plugins I've ever used. And I'm a plugin snob. And I'm talking about everything from UAD to Soft Tube to even Audio Acoustica, which doesn't get much love, but I really like their plugins.
Mm-hmm.
This stands up on its own. And I don't know what kind of algorithm they used, but just needless to say, if they know their own products, it shows because these sound fantastic.
What's the model preamp? I'm trying to think if I'm thinking of what you're talking about.
I want to say it's the M50. They have the M50. Don't quote me on that. I can send it to you afterwards, but it's the M50 500 series.
Okay, well, no. You said M. Okay, no, you said Hill Company. I'm thinking of Hill B. I think
Hill B. That's what I'm talking about.
You're talking about Hill. Okay, it's like the Mo 67.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so we are thinking about the same thing. Cool. I have a pair of Mo 67s.
Oh, nice.
I got a pair of Mo 67s, the cream and blue ones, or actually I think they're blue, cream and blue now. I think mine has got a black knob on it. But from my understanding, that preamp was like pre-API, or that preamp became API, and then they switched out the op amps or something like that. So yeah, I have a pair of those, and I've been curious about the plugins, and I did see them at NAMM, and it's funny because they recognized me because they saw my video on the review of the Mo 67, and I know there's the cream and red one, so that must be the M50 then. I don't know the name of that. That's the Motown one, I think.
Yes, that's the one. Man, bro, killer.
All right, you're making me want to check them out because I think they're even. I mean, the discount code probably still works, but they had some kind of discount code for NAMM or something for the plugins. But I was kind of like, I'm curious about them, but I'm like, I really don't need them. But if you vouch for them, I might have to check them out.
You too. I'm in that space, man. I have so many plugins. I'm like, what the heck? I'm mixing projects here, and this is the weird thing. I love these plugins. I'll try them. I'll use them. But when a client sends me some work, I go right back to my get it dones. I know the plugins that work. I already got a chain set up. I know how they sound. I know what they do, know how to push them. I'll do that. And that's kind of the weird thing. It's like when I want to start to substitute something in my chain, it's like, okay, I need to work with some of my projects to where I'm not under a time restraint, because, when people send you stuff, you're, hey, okay, cool. I'll have it done by this time. Or they're like, hey, I need this done by XYZ. Cool. You don't really have time to experiment. So you got to really do that on your own stuff or when you have time. And so that's the kicker there, between making content for YouTube and then making content for the podcast and just still wanting to be creative as a producer or artist. You got to find that time to experiment as well so you can continue to grow, because I know that there's been parts of my life to where there's been habits and routines that I had that served me extremely well, but they started giving me diminished returns the more the future went on, because those techniques became dated. Those plug-in sounds became dated. And so you got to find times to give yourself a ROI over time, because you're going to start to get diminished returns from old habits,
Yeah, definitely. And then to go back to what you said about Phoenix Audio. So in NAMM, they introduced I forgot what they're calling it, but it's basically a 500 series Ascent.
Yes.
With a one knob EQ. I missed that because I walked by the Phoenix Audio booth like 3 or 4 times, and just, all their gear looks the same. So you just, you walk by booths in NAMM and you take a quick glance, like, is there anything new? Nah. Okay. Yeah. Keep going. And, I get back to Nashville and I see this video new from Phoenix Audio, and I'm like, what? How did I miss that? So, because I commented on your Instagram post about the Phoenix Audio because I got the Ascent EQ. I got a killer open box deal on it from Sweetwater. I had always been curious about Phoenix Audio. I got it, and I think right after I got it, I got COVID. I wasn't in the studio for a while. And then when I got back in the studio, like I didn't try it for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months after I bought it. Because when I got back in the studio, it just became business as usual using what I knew. And I'd never really, finally I was like, damn it, I need to use this because, at this point I can't return it. And I don't even know if I like it yet. So yeah, I got to using it and I was like, oh yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
I love Phoenix Audio. They're probably, gosh, it's hard to say. It depends on how I'm feeling, but they're one of my favorite hardware manufacturers because I like how passive aggressive their stuff can be. Like the Neve stuff, when I get the Neve stuff, it's really aggressive. Their compressors are really grabby, so I know what I'm getting. And then the API stuff, it's like super laid back. It's smooth. It can be grabby, but it's really punchy. And the Phoenix Audio sits right in between those both. It's like if they both had a baby, Phoenix Audio would be it. And I really like how Phoenix Audio can give me punch for drums, but the API will give me like this low end presence. So I'll combine them and just get that really nice force. So they're probably one of my favorite plug-in hardware manufacturers. I will tell you, they came out with a piece called the Theta. That looks interesting because like in my studio, I run all of my hardware outboard gear as far as like synths and keyboards through their DI box. And then I run their DI box into my interface and you can drive their DI box. So if you're working with some strings on the motif or some drums on the MPC, you can drive those inputs and then kick back on the output coming into your interface and get that big, like thick, luscious sound. So they have a box called the Theta, which is like a summer and a DI box in one. So you can use each channel as you see fit and hit it with some widening, hit it with some transformer. It's pretty dope. And from what I understand, they have a transformer going in, they have a transformer going out. So it gives you more of that console sound coming in, especially if you're wanting to summit. So I'm very interested in that.
Nice. Yeah, I've been using mine really just been mainly using it on vocals. And I don't EQ. I very, very rarely EQ when I'm tracking vocals because I feel like if I need to EQ, then I'm using the wrong preamp or mic. But just being able to kick that sheen in a couple dB just to add some air on top has been great.
Yes,
it's not.
Agreed.
I don't like dark preamps, and yet the Phoenix with it being a transformerless input, you've got the transformer on the output. I can get that saturation on the output if I want, and I love versatile preamps. It's got a lot of headroom too. I like that too.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, and that's great you say that because that was one of the things that when I first put it on, I'm like, why does it sound like this? Why is it not? It's the headroom. You can kick it up. You can drive it. And I was like, oh, snaps. This is dope. Yeah, man.
Definitely. All right, we're going to get into a listener question here. Waves from YouTube wants to know, strictly for rap vocals, Warm WA1B or I call it modern classic, Empirical Labs Distressor. WA1B or Distressor strictly for rap vocals. What would you go for?
Gosh, it's going to be a hot take. I don't like the Warm stuff. Not a fan. I've had all of their stuff and it's ended up selling it. I'm going to go with the Distressor on that because I've worked with the Distressor handily and I know how versatile that thing is and how you can get the most out of it. And they don't skip on power supply. That's my biggest thing with Warm. So that's how they keep their price down, is that they skimp on their power supplies. Not trying to bash anyone, but this is just my knowledge of it. So you got places like Revive Audio, And I think I forget the other one, but people like Revive Audio that do these mods, and it's usually like on the warm stuff. So, and you look at the mods, they're replacing the power supply. And if you like look at an original Neve or like an original API, those power supplies are huge. Even with the manly stuff, their power supplies are huge. Not with the warm stuff. So I'm going to go with the distressor on that one.
All right. I'm tough on warm just because a lot of time they clone stuff that I just feel like we don't need another one of. But I do like the WA1B. I had one for a couple months when I was reviewing it, and I got to say it's probably my favorite warm piece that I've ever tried before.
Really?
But, yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed with it. But strictly for rap vocals, like the distressor is so versatile. Like I don't think there's another compressor that's as versatile as the distressor. So based on that versatility, I think I would go distressor as well, because the distressor can be clean, but then you can add some saturation to it. You've got that opto mode. You can put it in. I love opto compressors.
Yeah.
And it's so much you can do with a distressor. So yeah, I'd have to go with the distressor on that one as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna check out the WA because I seen your review on it, and I played with it a little bit. And you know, to be fair on that one, I haven't like used it. You know, haven't dug into it. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I guess, you know, a lot of their clones, I'm like, yeah, we don't need one of those. But the WA1B, there's not another CL1B clone out there. So like, that's the one. And it's funny because I emailed Warm like years ago. 'Cause I think they put out something saying, what should we, I almost said clone next. What should we make next? And my answer was the CL1B, because like I don't know if patents expired on it or something. I don't know, but no, like I'm just surprised that no one has done that. So
right,
yeah, I was impressed with it. I was impressed. I was like, oh, but like you, I get Warm gear. It's cool for a little bit, and then I always say it's good until I get something better. And I had the I had the LA2A. And then I sold it and I got the ELOP, which is just in a whole nother league.
That's a huge upgrade. That's a quantum leap.
Yeah, a whole nother league. The Pool Tech, I sold it and got the West Audio LC EQP, which is the West Audio Pool Tech.
Yeah.
And that one is an actual passive EQ. I found out that the Warm is not passive. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's the only two that I had. Yeah. We're going to move into our main topic of underrated gear. We're just going to discuss some gear that we feel is underrated. So first question I'm going to ask you here is, what makes a piece of gear underrated to you? Or how do you define underrated?
So that's a great question. If I have a piece of gear and I feel like it's underrated, I would feel just basically sometimes those underrated gears are out of most people's price range, so they don't know about it. Or it's one of those pieces of gear to where it says it's an EQ or it's a compressor, but you might use it for another reason. So it's like, yeah, this is a compressor, but we use it as this, and it's so underrated for that. Or it's just one of those companies trying to compete with one of the big dogs, and they're just trying to find their footing, and that makes it underrated.
Yeah, see, for me, underrated to me is gear that I'm like, why is no one else talking about this? Like, why don't I see other people with this? And yeah, to me that definitely makes it underrated, because I don't like to use stuff that everyone else has. Which, for example, is another reason I was interested in like the Phoenix Audio. I don't see Phoenix Audio in every studio, you know. So I'm like, I stay away from, and that's another reason. That's why I went with the Hilby Mo 67 instead of an API. It's something different that not everyone else has. But yeah, that's underrated to me. No one's talking about it, and I don't see a lot of people with it. So with that out the way, let's start with microphones. What's an underrated mic for you?
Ooh, that's a good one because there's a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna throw a curveball here. I'm gonna go with the Townsend Sphere. I know UAD rebranded it, and I feel like it's underrated because of what it's doing, the emulation part of it. And once you really take, because the mic on itself is standalone, is a great mic. It sounds good. Your mic is really good, and based on what type of preamp you have with it as well, can affect it. But I know that microphone for sure works better with like clean sounding preamps because of the emulation. You don't really want too much color on those. But for what it's doing, I really think it's like future thinking. It's more of a experimental microphone that worked well. So the emulations that it does are most times spot on, if like not 1 or 2% off, which you can make up with some sort of EQ, right? So I feel like that's underrated especially for the price that it is.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with the Aventone Pro BV1, which is their large diaphragm tube condenser that they came out with the end of 2022, I think. But it has been in the rotation of tube mics for me, and I don't see many people talking about it or with it, and it definitely stands up to more expensive tube mics to me. And what really got me, because like I said this in my review, when I think of Aventone Pro, I don't think of like high end microphones, but yeah, that one definitely deserves to be in the discussion. I like it on male vocals and female vocals. It's just a great tube mic for me. Good balance between clean and colored too. It's to me, I feel like a lot of people don't realize is that the more color you add, you will lose clarity, or you have a very high chance of losing clarity.
For sure.
Message.
For sure.
So you're adding that color and you're losing clarity. But with the with something like that mic, it's got a little bit of color, but it still keeps that clarity open top end. Yeah, I really like that one. I think that one's overrated. Or underrated. I think that one's underrated. You got another one?
This is gonna be crazy, but there's a microphone that I don't even know if they sell anymore. But it was the Groove Tube GT55. That microphone.
I thought you was about to say the G. What did I have? I think I had the GT57. I know I didn't have the 55.
That one too. The
57. Okay.
Yeah, the Groove Tube stuff, man. They made some really, really good stuff. Even their preamps were dope. I know Ken Norton. Ken Lewis uses their preamp a lot, and he's made hits upon hits, you know. But their GT55 microphone was killer, and I still like that mic to this day.
Was that the tube one?
It was.
Okay.
No, it was. Yeah.
It was. Okay. So I think I had the GT57, which was the FET one, which I wasn't using it. I ended up selling it to someone. Yeah, because I ended up I think I picked up mine for like $300 or something. Sweetwater was blowing them out, and I really, looking back on it, of course, hindsight being 2020, I should have got the preamp, because like I guess they were just clearing them out, and I was looking at the preamp too, but I was like, I need a new mic. I was like $300. I'm like, all right, let me see. Another one, another mic I'm gonna say is underrated is the Rode Broadcaster, which is their broadcast condenser mic. I don't see, it's been around for a while. I don't really see people with it. I picked up one from Guitar Center used for a couple hundred, if that. I think brand new they're like $439. I think I got mine for like $200 or something like that. And really, I was so excited to find one local. Like looking back on it, I probably should have tried to talk them down because like nobody was checking for that mic. I probably could have got it for like 160 or 170
for sure.
But yeah, I definitely think that one is underrated. I feel that Rode makes very good broadcast mics. I now have the pod mic, I have the Procaster, and the Broadcaster. So that that one's definitely underrated to me.
Nice.
Let's see. Move on to preamps. What you got for a preamp that's underrated?
So I got a couple.
Right.
So the first one I'm going to go for is one that was kind of near and dear to my heart. It's actually a channel strip with a preamp, but it was the PreSonus Eureka. I used to have that, and I really love that thing. I should have bought another one. It made a pair, but that one was dope.
Is that the blue preamp one?
It was like the silver one with the blue knobs.
Okay.
Yeah. That one was dope. And then the one that I have right now, the API 3122V, the stereo channel preamp, that's killer. And I don't see many people talking about it, using it at all. Like,
okay.
Yeah. When I got other producers and engineers who I talk to who are much more famous than me, much more bigger than me, I send them a mix and they call me and like, yo, what'd you use on your drums? When I tell them that, they're like, get out of here for real. And I'm like, yeah, that thing is super underrated. Just for the fact that API saturation to me, when you add it on the input and you kind of kick back on that output, it's pretty dope. And they have a button here called a 3-to-1, and it's like you hit their transformer, dude. Yeah, I'm all about it.
I feel like I still almost remember the day when API finally put an output knob on their preamps, and it was like, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
finally.
You. Nothing else matters in life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one because I feel like most people that go with API go with the 500 series, and that's what they know. Do you remember the API? I think it was called the API A to D.
The A to D, no.
It was a two-channel. It was a two-channel. I can't remember if it was a 312 or 512, but it was a two-channel API 1U with an A to D converter in it. So it was API preamps for the front end, but it had a digital back end where it had an A to D converter in it. Yeah, that was around for a while. I'm sure it's been discontinued now. But yeah, see, underrated to preamp that's underrated to me is the. And I'm blanking on what I was going to say. I know the Chandler Little Devil preamp.
Oh, dude. Yeah,
I don't see many people talk about that one. That one's been around for a while. I think they still sell it, but that is a very colorful, hi-fi sounding preamp that I love. I use that a lot on rap vocals. And then probably one that's the biggest underrated preamp I feel is the Mic Tech MPA 201, which is a 2-channel. They'll call it British sounding. I don't know. It really doesn't sound like a Neve to me. It's more open than a Neve, but man, it's just thick and smooth. And it's probably the first thing I reached for in the studio with vocals. I ended up getting a killer deal on it in at Guitar Center. I'd walked in Guitar Center. I can't remember while I was even because anytime I go in Guitar Center now it's for cables. Like I don't go in Guitar Center to buy anything.
Yeah. Yep.
But
I need cables that day. I gotta go.
Right. Right.
Gotta get them.
And a lot of times they don't have them. But anyway.
Yep. True. It's so true.
Damn.
You go in Guitar Center like, yeah, I need like true story. I was in there a couple weeks ago and I was looking for a 10-foot cable, and they're like, we don't have 10-foot cables, and I'm like, what? We've got 5 feet and 15 feet, and I'm like, how do you not have a 10-foot XLR cable? I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you can just have some extra slack. I'm like, no, I'm not paying for an extra 5 feet.
Yeah, no way. No way. Especially if it's Megami, that's going to charge. That's like another $100.
Anybody's going to bust your head for cable these days. But
yeah, man.
I'm in Guitar Center, and as I walk in, there's a Tube Tech piece that catches my eye in this glass case. And I'm like, Tube Tech? I'm like, when did Guitar Center start selling Tube Tech? Okay. So I walk over there, and it's and I'm looking at the Tube Tech, and then I realize it's a case of used stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I see the Mic Tech preamp, which I've had my eye on for a while anyway. I was actually going to probably purchase one at Sweetwater that year, but they had one used, and it was $599. That preamp, I think brand new, is $1,500. I think there was a time that it went down to like $1,200. I think they had it for $599. I'm like, does it work? So we take it out the box, we power it up, and I start pushing buttons. And then it hits me like, I know Mike and Mic Tech. Like I said, Mic Tech's a Nashville company. I'm like, if it is broke, I'll just take it over there.
Take right over there.
Have them fix it. It is like the top and bottom of it was beat up. But nobody sees that once you put it in a rack. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. For $599 though, that's and I got 2 channels of it too. Yeah, that's a very underrated preamp, nice. In my opinion, for sure. Let's see, compressors. What you got for compressors?
We were just kind of talking about that. The Phoenix Audio N90s.
Okay.
Those are just awesome. They're so versatile. They're awesome. I love that for compressors. Is
that a VCA compressor, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's a VCA style here. The color that you get, but you can back off of it. It's just I'm all about it for compressor. And then here we go. Here's another one. The API T25 from their Select series.
Stole my thunder.
Really? Did I? I'm so sorry. Oh
Damn.
my God. Yeah, dude, that one is killer. I love the tubes on that. The tube fat, and I just run things through the tubes for that. It's incredible. It's incredible. I love that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess as engineers, we have been programmed to when you hear FET, you think 1176. So
yep. That's
kind of the first thing when I started using it. I was like, man, this don't sound like an 1176. But then the more I use it, I'm like, man, this doing its own thing. Like, yes. Okay. I'm like, all right, I'm good with it. I'm cool.
Yes, for sure. I love that one.
I was definitely going with that one too. I don't see many people talk about that one. I'm actually thinking about taking mine down to the studio to just pair it with that Mic Tech preamp, just to have two channels of tracking compression. I'm thinking, I'm using it less and less for mixing now. So I'm thinking about, and I've been looking for a 2-channel compressor to pair with that preamp for tracking vocals. So I definitely might look into doing that.
Yeah, see, that's dope. I run my T25 into the Fusion, the SSL Fusion mid-side mode, so I can have that warmness on the sides, because the mid-side just turns any piece of gear into mid-side mode on Fusion. So I'm just like, okay, it's got independent 2 channels, so I'll unlink the channels and just kind of do a dual mono mid-side mode with that. It's pretty dope.
Nice. Well, the other one I was going to go with is the kind of sticking with API, but technically it's the JDK V12, which JDK line became the API Select. What is it called on the API Select? I think the SR22. or maybe the SR12. The JDK, look it up just to be sure. The API Select, so the 500 series one is the API Select SV12. Okay, so that became the
12,
that compressor. I love that. I use that to track rap vocals, and I've been using that for years to track rap vocals, and I haven't switched out to anything else because it works so well as just a all-purpose general compressor. It's an automatic attack and release, so I don't have to fool with that. It's got switch for hard knee, soft knee. And, something a little more aggressive, I go to hard knee. A little more laid back, soft knee, easy to dial in. I feel like I should have bought two of them almost because I guess they fixed the issue now because API told me that my guy at API leaned over to me at NAMM one year. He's like, you still got your V12? And I was like, yeah. He goes, good. He's like, keep it because we can't make any more. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I guess they weren't able to get a part or something. So I saw a couple on Reverb and I was like, do I want to grab this?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now they've came out with it with the API Select line. So I guess whatever issue they had, they were able to resolve it now. But yeah, I was that one is definitely underrated to me. And I think I don't know anything about the Paragon console, but that's supposed to be the compressor from the Paragon console. I think like the mixed bus compressor for it or something, because there is a 2-channel one too. But 2-channel one that is the SR22. Yeah, it was the JDK R22. Yeah. So yeah, I was looking at getting the rack one too, because I feel like I'd see them for a good price sometimes too, because people ain't really checking for it.
Yeah.
But definitely a really nice VCA compressor there. Did you have another one on the compressor side?
Well, kind of.
Oh, you said two. You said okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you got one, go ahead.
The compressor from the Fusion, the high filter compressor, the high frequency compressor, that compressor is killer. It just, when I put it on, man, it just does what I need it to do. And I'm like, I don't even have to really set anything. This is great. That one right there for sure.
Nice. Okay. Let me see what we got next. EQs. Got an EQ that's underrated.
I do. I don't see a lot of these, and I don't see a lot of people talking about them. But the Better Maker passive stereo EQ, they're kind of their Pultec emulation. I love that thing. I really, really do. And the main reason I like it is because it's further up in my rack to where I can't really reach it, but it's okay because it's plug-in controlled.
Yeah.
And that to me is dope. And I just love the way that it sounds, man. I'm actually looking to get another one here, because
nice.
It is stereo.
Mine, I'm gonna say, actually, let's go ahead and stick with the JDK API. I got two, but the first one is my JDK R24, which is now the API Select SR24. It's from pretty much same thing. 2-channel EQ, again from that I think Paragon console. And just a quick story about it. I picked it up at GearFest one year, and this is an EQ. There's no shelf on it. All of it is bell curve, 4 bands. And I used to, for a long time, it has API output transformers on it. For a long time, I ran mixes through it. Even if I wasn't EQing, I would just run mixes through it. And when I got it from Sweetwater, I wasn't 100% sure. But like most gear I buy, like I'm 100% sure, like, yeah, this is what I want. I was like, kind of iffy on this. So I bought it, and I'm like, how long I got to return this if I don't like it? Like, I don't know about this. We got it back to Nashville. It was me and my mastering engineer went up to Sweetwater with me that year. We went to Blackbird and rented a Designs hammer. Was it the hammer? I forget the other one it was the hammer and something else. I think it was the hammer. Rented it. Yeah, it was a 2 BQ. Yeah. And let me see. I think I paid like $1,000 for my JDK EQ, and that hammer was like $2,200 or whatever. And this is back, like, we're basing gear off price. And my mastering engineer was like, that A Designs is going to kill the JDK EQ. And I was like, yeah, I know. I just want to see, I just want to compare them. Well, in everything we ran through, the JDK won. It was more open. The A Designs was a little dark. And I couldn't believe it. And really from that day, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to judge gear based on the price anymore.
Right.
So
right.
But I emailed my sales rep. I'm like, yeah, you're not getting this back. You're not getting this back. And so yeah, definitely an underrated EQ to me. And the other one is my West Audio LC EQP. It's the West Audio Pultec.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people talking about it. It's been discontinued now, but I have a feeling, I don't have any inside knowledge on this. It's just I just have a feeling that West Audio will bring it back as a NG, as a, plug-in controllable, because they did that with the 1176. Now they've got I think they're called the Beta. I think their 1176 is called Beta, but they have their 1176, and then they came out with the, I don't know if it's the exact same thing, but we'll just say in 1176 that's plug-in control. So I wonder if they're going to do that with this Pultec. But what I love about this Pultec is that we all know that Pultecs allow you to boost and cut the same frequency. You have one frequency control for the low end. This West Audio has 2 frequency selectors. It has an independent low frequency selector for the boost and one for the cut. So I can boost and cut at different frequencies. Sweet. And I have never seen another Pultec be able to do that.
Sweet. I bet that gives you some really cool tones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I'm going to look into that. Look at that.
That's everyone. You got a, did you say one? Or did you?
Yeah,
no, you said
I did.
Kind
of the other one. It's the Heritage Audio Symphony Q. Like,
okay.
I dig Heritage Audio, and the reason I really like that EQ is because the mid-side mode is, I get it in the dial wide end, but the filters on that EQ are the smoothest filters hardware wise that I have ever used. I don't know what they did, but the low and high filters on those things just really round out your mix. And I love those. Even if I'm not EQing anything else, I'm using those filters, period.
Now, I don't know much about that one. Is that based off of any hardware, or is that just Heritage Audio doing their own thing for a 2-channel EQ?
Yeah, so that's based off like a Baxhall EQ.
Okay.
And it does every bit of that. And it sounds really, really good. Even I've noticed just like running things through it without even EQing anything, it has like its own sound. And I've done that on a couple of tracks. It just sounds good. Yeah.
Man, that's that Dangerous Backs EQ. Remember they came out with that and everybody was going crazy over it. And I was like, not to say that it is, but it looks a little basic for what this cost is.
Yeah, the cost, dude, the cost.
So when they came out with, when was a Plug-in Alliance came out with the plug-in, I'm like, yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. Dangerous stuff. I got their compressor here, which I love. I use it on every mix, every single mix, even on vocal recordings, just recording live in it. It's awesome because it doesn't get in the way, but it does what it does, right? It's controlled. The cost of Dangerous stuff is, I don't get it. I know Merrick and them guys over there. I know them personally. But Dangerous, man, they don't like, I don't see them on really any kind of sale ever, you know?
That's why you got to go to Gear Fest, because you can get stuff maybe 10-15% off at Gear Fest.
That'll work because it's better than nothing. But
right,
yeah,
and
the Dangerous stuff is just always, they're like Manly. Their stuff is always expensive.
At least Manly I've seen go on sale though. Manly does run sales. I think that's when I got my ELOP.
Yep.
Because I have the Dangerous D-Box, and one of the things I wanted was it a sub? Yeah, I think it's a sub control. And there's some other features I wanted on the D-Box. And I kind of emailed Dangerous about it. Like, oh, you should look into putting this. And they're like, no. I'm like, all right. So I ended up running my D-Box, which we know is a monitor controller as well, into another monitor controller. So I can have like desktop reach of my monitor controlling and have access to a sub at the time. But the D-Box I felt was very fairly priced for what all it did. You've got 2 D-to-A converters, 8 channels of summing, monitor controllers, 2 headphone ports. Like, that was great. And then they came out with we call it the Gen 2 of the D-Box. And I'm like,
that's what I run.
Yeah, the features, that's what you got. I'm like, the features are cool, but as a OG D-Box owner, like, I don't feel like I needed that. Or, like, I've already, the shortcomings of the original D-Box, I've already fixed that by adding something else. So the only thing I would really want from there is the that standalone Dangerous monitor controller. And I'm not paying $2,000 to turn my monitors up and down.
Good. Good. That's another piece of gear. I'm good.
Let's see. Yeah, that's all I had for EQ. What we got next? Channel strips. You got any channel strips? I know you said the Eureka from PreSonus
earlier. Yeah. The API channel strip. That to me, so you get a pair of those, you're in like Schwinn, straight up. That everything is like running it through like API console, just two channel strip there. And even I've been looking into getting that, and they're using the same preamp that they're using on the 3122V here. And I'm just like, man, okay, so I get the EQ, which is 500 series, get the compressor, get their pre, and they got some other features on there as well. Yeah, that's worth it to me as far as the channel strip goes.
I'm curious. I'd have to just look. I'm not about to do the math now, but if you had a lunchbox where you put a 312 or 512, if you basically built that API channel strip, 2 channels in a lunchbox, I wonder how that would be versus that would have to be cheaper than getting the 2 of the rack units.
I would say so.
It would have
because
to be,
the rack unit itself is like 3,300.
Okay, yeah. Definitely then. Okay. That's one I've looked at. That the 527 I've looked at for a while too. I looked at getting that out of curiosity, just because I didn't really see people with it. Man, now you got me thinking about that again. But I was like, I don't see anybody with this compressor. I kind of want to check it out. But it's weird to me that the gain reduction goes up instead of down. I don't know why the hell they did that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just trying to be different, but as engineers, when I think gain reduction down, so that kind of turned me off on it. Honest, I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get used to this.
Yeah.
Am I looking at the input or the gain reduction? Like, what are we doing here?
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. So as far as, channel strips go, I'm into that. I know that the Neve channel strips, their Newton and their Shelford gets a lot of love. I'm going to be honest. I might be in the minority here, but I've had the Neve bus compressor. I've had the Neve, bus processor. I've had a couple 1176s here. And it was one of those things to where they're very pricey. So when I pay something that's in that price range, I feel like I want to use it on every mix. And it was one of those things I couldn't use it on every mix because sometimes it was much more aggressive than I would have liked. So I've gotten away from the Neve sound, and I know I'm in the minority here, but I feel like some of their stuff is just, it's an acquired taste. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I wasn't, not the Newton, whatever the newest channel strip they came out with.
At Newton.
What is that? The Newton? Is that the?
I think so.
No, let me look it up. Let me see. Newton. Is that the more affordable one? We'll call it. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not having control over the tack and release. Was kind of a deal breaker for me, and I wasn't really crazy about having a VCA compressor in a channel strip either. That, and I haven't used one, but that diode bridge compressor that they have just looks more interesting to me.
Yep.
I guess just because I've never used a diode bridge before, but we all know that, or maybe we all don't know, but a VCA compressor is the most affordable one to make. So I definitely see why they're like, when I saw the price of it, I immediately knew that it was a VCA compressor in there. I was like, oh, 2000. I'm like, yeah. But I do like the I do like their preamps, the 511s. I do like those. Let me see. Channel strip for me though, the Empirical Labs Mic E.
Ooh.
I don't really see people with it.
Ooh.
Don't really see people talking about it. And I still track vocals with that channel strip. That was like one of the first like pro pieces of gear I got. I was looking for an Avalon 737. I'm like, I got to get a 737. But if you've used a 737 before, or if you've transported a 737 before, they weigh like 50 pounds. And at the time I was moving studio to studio, I was talking to, I think I got mine from Soundpeer. And at the time, Empirical Labs had a sale, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, this is one rack. It's got to be lighter than the Avalon. And I got it and actually got to compare it to an Avalon, and I liked it more than it. The mic pre is really clean, which is kind of as expected because you have the compressor saturator section where you can add saturation. Nobody does compression like Empirical Labs. So having that Empirical Labs compressor on there, that's one I use for rap vocals a lot too.
Agreed.
But yeah, I love that. That channel strip is definitely underrated to me.
Back to your point there, and I just wanted to second that. No one does compression like Empirical Labs. Not saying that it's better or whatever, but their compression is their compression, and I love that.
I mean, for it to basically be it's got to be a VCA compressor. Because if it was Opto or FET, they would say that. Yeah. That thing can do so much gain reduction, and you do not feel it at all. Crazy. Yes. Like I can do probably 12, 14 dB of compression, and you don't know it until you look at it.
Yep.
And you're like, oh shit.
Yep.
But then you sit back and you're like,
it
sounds good though.
It sounds good.
You're like,
damn.
For real. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which it makes me curious to I want to try out those new pump compressors, the 500 series one that they've got. I think they're shipping now, or if not, they're getting close to shipping. But yeah, and actually, I've gone back and forth with, do I want a distressor? Because the Mic E has less attack times, less release times and less ratios than a distressor, but I can dial it in a lot quicker. And at times I feel like I don't need a distressor because I have that Mic E. And then I mean, really when Softtube came out with the plugin, I'm like, oh great. I then took my Mic E down to the studio and left it there, and like I'll just use the plugin at home and I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you say? So that's one of the questions I have for you. Like, the more that I've become seasoned at what I do, I am actually preferring more plugins with less knobs and hardware with less knobs that I can just dial in fairly quick and get that sound. I'm noticing like the more knobs there are on something, the more I want to play with it.
That's what he said.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Man, loving that.
I feel you, because I have been leaning more towards simplicity. At the same time, like those single knob plugins and stuff like that, I'm like, man, I don't want this beginner ass plugin,
Yeah. Oh
but
my God.
but like the what is it called? The Sonox Vox. What is it called? Damn it. I gotta look it up. The new Sonox, they've got it's like a 2-button or 2-knob. There it is. Voca, Sonox Voca. That thing sounds so good, and it's only 2 knobs.
Yeah, man.
I do lean towards. I have been leaning more towards simplicity and not liking stuff that has a lot of buttons and knobs, like the what is the SSL? Is it the Bus Plus?
Man, that's got a lot going on.
It's got too much going on. Like I watched the video of them going through all the features, and I'm like, I'm not gonna remember all of this.
Nah. That kind of turned me off. I'm glad you brought that up. I was gonna buy one, and I was like, that's kind of a lot. That's a little too much, And go back to your point. There's a plugin from Eventide called Da Boom. I don't know why
I got that.
Works.
Yeah.
I don't know why it just works, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love that thing.
And I don't use them, but okay. Here's a little off topic, but so was Wave's 1-knob series ahead of its time? Because people trashed the 1-knob series for being, so simple, and now it's like that's what a lot of people are in. That's what we're into now.
Yes, the 1-knob stuff was ahead of its time. I would concur for sure. What I've seen on a lot of templates that people don't really talk about is that saturation knob from SoftTube, the 1-knob thing.
Yeah,
dude, I see that on a lot of people's chains for sure.
I'm actually it's on my to-do list, but I'm doing a YouTube video on like the best 1-knob plugins out there.
Let me know when that drops. I'm going to be looking forward to that for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. Last one we got here is plugins. It's kind of nice segue there, but do you have any plugins that you feel that are underrated?
Ooh, yeah, actually, there's a couple. The MSED, the mid-side ED, I forget who it's by. Hold on, I could tell you right now.
I haven't heard of that one.
Voxingo. It's a company, and it's a free plugin. And what it does is it turns any sound, anything you have into mid-side, and it's absolutely incredible. I love that plugin. I use it on every track, and it just brings up some of the sides on some things sometimes when I feel like it's lacking, and it gives me that happy balance on that. So that's one. And then I like the soft clipper from Apogee. That's another free plugin. That clipper is amazing, and it sounds so good. It's the smoothest clipper I've ever used. I use it on a lot of things, and it just gives me that room to really push my mixes out. And then I would say my last underrated plugin here would honestly probably be the Console One. I love the Console One because I can shape and get to a mix with 60% efficiency and very fast. I love those.
Yeah, hold that thought. We're gonna come back to that in a second. Mine, I'm gonna go with a whole brand for mine, and it's Kit plugins. I don't think they get enough love because I've compared them to Waves, I've compared them to UA, and they are, I don't know what they're doing with their algorithm or their modeling, how their stuff sounds so good. They're Neve 1073s, they've got the API channel now, and then they've even got their, which isn't the core series, the core EQ, core compressor, which is more like a general use EQ, general use compressor. and they just all sound great. Fantastic.
Do they got the Blackbird too?
Yes.
Yes.
They do
Oh,
the Blackbird
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I love that one, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think they, man, like once I started using their Blackbird Neve channel strip, I used to use the Sheps 73 from Waves, which I still like, which is great. But yeah, compared to the kit plugins, just does a little bit more. And it sounds so good. So yeah, I think their whole line is definitely underrated.
Nice. I'm glad you brought them up.
That out the way, let's go back to that the console one. I might be able to get my hands on that to review it. I'm curious. I feel like I don't have enough desk space in front of me now, because I've got I guess I could put it on my I don't know, left side. I don't know, but
that's kind of what I do. I ran out of desk space. I actually even said that in my overview of it. Is like something had to go, so I got rid of the SSL UC1. I had to get rid of that one. I still love the plugin. I still use the plugins, but as far as the hardware control, I was like, I either keep the UF one or the UC one, and I use the UF one way more than I use the UC one, just because purely the transport controls on this is phenomenal. The jog wheel on this is phenomenal.
The UF one, I guess F is for fader. Is that the one? Is that the single fader?
One fader. Yep.
Okay. And then the UC one was like the channel strip bus compressor.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that was genius to me. Like there. So yeah, my meaning for going back to that thought is that it's like that space, that DAW controller, plug-in controller space is really starting to heat up, because I love what SSL did with theirs. Like that really gives you the feeling of mixing on an SSL console.
Agreed.
But if I had to choose between the two, Soft Tube is just going to give you more, because you have more plugins in that Soft Tube lineup.
And they work with UAD plugins.
Nice. Nectar is coming out with one that I saw at NAMM last year. They've almost finished. I think it's actually up on Sweetwater now, but it's a plugin control. I think it's one fader, but it's the CS12 channel strip and DAW plugin controller. It's only $399. Okay, yeah, it's not shipping yet. It says coming soon, but it's up on Sweetwater site now. So yeah, it's coming soon, but it works with any third-party plugin. You can map it to any third-party plugin. Going back to SSL, what they announced at NAMM this year was being able to control like the Waves SSL, the UAD SSL, in the the SSL 360 software.
Yep.
Killer.
That made me want to get the UC1 again. But desk space is such a premium, and I find myself using the Console 1 MK3 more because they got a tape preamp on here that you can just hit on every channel, and it sounds so good. And I'm just like, I'm getting more use out of that.
And I still don't, and they might do it one day. And if they do at this point, from this day on, they will definitely be considered as late. But I feel like Waves should have made that product years ago.
Yeah. They could have had a stranglehold, because Waves was prime and ready. And some of the decisions they made recently, we all know, was a little questionable. But I agree with you. If they would have made that product earlier, I mean, they would be it. They would be the company.
And my only thought as to why they didn't do it, because I just feel like it'd be so complicated, because there's so many Waves plugins. Like, how are you gonna control? And then they have weird functions too. Like, it's not just attack release ratio threshold. Like, they've got weird controls. So I feel like mapping that it would take a lot of work, but I wouldn't be now, but I would have been interested in a plug-in controllable unit from Waves, because I have the PreSonus Fader Port 8, and there's the pan knob on it. I can hit a button, I hit link, and then whatever my mouse hovers over, I can turn that pan knob and it'll control that parameter of the plugin.
Yeah.
So I love that because I don't have to worry about mapping a whole plugin to it. I can just hover over one parameter I want and turn the knob. And I love that's great. That's been really good enough for me. But I've been interested in that soft tube console ever since the first version. I've been kind of interested in it.
I think you would like it. I think you would like it a lot. I got rid of the first version in light of the SSL stuff. I got the UF8, UC1, and UF1. I was like, okay, cool. This is dope. Now that they've opened it up to other plugins, that was my biggest gripe about the UC1, which is why I got rid of it, because it was like, it's only, these two and then that bus compressor. But the console one controls so much in its kingdom of plugins. I was like, okay, console one it is. And then when they came back out with this MK3, one thing I will say is that they really stepped up is the feel of it. The actual knobs on it feel like actual hardware. And that it just makes it just feels really good. And I love how they've integrated their screen so you can see it, but it reminds me of the SSL UC1 to where I'm actually using my ears to mix. I don't have to look at anything. So it gives you the option to where, okay, you want to look. And then there's been times where I'm using a console one and something sounds good and I look up, I'm pushing it. I'm like, oh, if I would have been looking at that, I would have never went there. But just by hearing it and feeling it, I went there and it sounded good.
Nice. Interesting. Yeah. And I might check out this Nectar because it's a good size.
That's what she said.
But I should be able to easily put it and it might replace my Fader Port 8 at least for a little bit, just testing it out because I got this Fader Port 8 because I am a Studio One user. Obviously it integrates great with Studio One, but I don't use the faders. I don't need 8 faders, honestly. So yeah, that's now I think about it. Still, my mind, if I need to move a fader, I grab it in the DAW, not the fader right in front of me.
I know that transition is crazy. It's wild. You know what? I wanted to ask you this. So you use Studio One, which I do as well. And
Okay.
I know that the SSL works, their SSL stuff works great in Studio One. But how do you feel about Reaper? Because there's things I've been looking into Reaper, and a lot of the DAW controllers, which we're talking about, work the best in Reaper for some reason, and I'm not sure why.
Interesting. Reaper, I don't think I have it on this iMac. I've tried it before. And I wasn't able to get into it. And when I say I wasn't able to get into it, one thing that drew me towards Studio One is the very first time I opened it up and I went to messing with it, I didn't really have to look for anything. Like everything was right where I expected it to be. Looking at you, Pro Tools, but everything was right where I expected it to be. And it just made it so easy to use that I didn't have to dig for stuff.
Right.
And whereas Reaper, once I opened it, I'm like, I couldn't really get around it quick enough. Whereas, because if I got to do a lot of digging, I'm going to get off it. I'm going to get off it quick.
Totally agree.
And so, yeah, I've heard good things about Reaper. I just couldn't, I tried to, because I think I had, was something, I think that may have been before I got into Studio One, but I think I had an issue with Pro Tools one day and I got mad and didn't feel like troubleshooting. And I'm like, okay, let me just move this session into something else. And I think I tried Reaper and I just couldn't get around what I needed it to do. Bitwig has been kind of interesting to me.
Very.
Yes. I haven't had that issue with Bitwig where if I'm looking for something, I can easily find it and get around it. I just haven't set in it enough to really, really do anything with it. But I've opened it enough just to play around with it and mess with it. But yeah, I couldn't get into Reaper.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you on that. I couldn't get into Reaper, but I'm just like, I'm wondering what kind of code they run that makes it work with DAW controllers so well. And once again, here's looking at you, Pro Tools, instead of just like Avid stuff, I was a big Pro Tools advocate. You couldn't tell me nothing about Pro Tools. I was their guy. And then Logic 10 came out. And I moved to Logic 10, and I was like, "Whoa, hold up! This is nice. This is real nice." And I don't keep crashing talking about my digital audio engine ain't working. Like, yeah. So I moved over to Logic, and then from Logic I went to Machine software.
Okay.
For the longest because I got the Machine Studio there, and that was my jam. And then I got off of that and went into Ableton. And that's where I create. I've stayed there I've been there since like 2018, 2017 now, in Ableton, but I mix my bigger projects and everything else in Studio One. And I love it for that. But I recently have gotten into Serato Studio.
I've got that.
It's interesting.
You know what? I'm gonna go back and check that out. I don't think I've used it in over a year, but I think I had it in its very, very early phases, and I was like, "This is cool. This is cool.
Man, it's dope. It's really, really dope. It's easy to get an idea started and going in that, and I'm starting to get deep with it, and it forces you to think differently and create differently, which I'm actually a fan of. I like it.
Is it a little more like a DAW now? Because I remember when I first started messing with it, it was more tailored towards creation than actual editing.
Yeah. So with the new update, it is starting to be tailored more toward a DAW. I would still say it's more of like a Groovebox editor creation station. But just getting that core idea out, and I don't know what, for some reason, it sounds good. Just the sound coming out of there. I'm like, this just got this nice little sheen to it. I can dig that, It's kind of got that Pro Tools sheen. I'm not the Pro Tools sheen, but the FL Studio sheen. It's got that sound. But, it reminds me of the MPC software. When I work inside the MPC, it just, your brain has to work creatively in a different way to get the sound that you want. And it's not necessarily better. It's not necessarily worse. It's just different, which, your ideas be different.
Mm-hmm. So Matt, do you have Pro Tools?
I do.
Okay.
I do still.
Yeah. I've been thinking now that they've brought back perpetual licenses, I've been thinking about, because I think it's like $199. I think
that's exactly like what it is.
I'm like,
I bought
it.
I'm
definitely thinking about it. Really more so just to keep up with what they're doing for my YouTube channel, because I know I'm not going to really use it, but yeah, I've been going back and forth with that idea.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good idea. I mean, we're professionals. And the clients that we work with, that's one of the things. I try to stay sharp in Pro Tools. I stay sharp in FL. I stay sharp in Ableton and Studio One. And those are my DAWs. Yeah.
That's a lot.
I know, man. MPC Studio too. I stay sharp in that and just really learn those shortcuts and whatnot, because sometimes, when I do take on clients, they're not the most tech savvy and they don't know exactly what stems are. All they know is how to send over the session. Yeah. So, I'll be like, okay, cool. That's cool. Send the folder. And I'll go into Pro Tools and I'll do what I need to do in Pro Tools. And I don't know, Pro Tools still got like they tug on my heartstrings sometimes, because I loved it at one point in time. It was my jam. But Studio One for me is just like, they do the simple things so well. Like, for instance, hardware delay compensation is built in to pipeline. It is not in Pro Tools. It just doesn't work well. Routing your buses, it automatically routes it in Studio One. It does not in Pro Tools. And I'm just like, why are you guys still so archaic in certain things, you know? So that's what gets me.
Not only does it route the bus for you, but Studio One turns up the fader too.
Yes. Yes. Simple things, just those little ease of life things that make a world of difference.
And it makes you think like, okay, I created this bus. Yeah, I do want the fader up. Like, why would I want the fader down?
I need to hear it. I need to hear it. I can blend it at my taste when I want to, but I need to hear it, you know? So just those simple things. And I like what a feature that I love in Studio One that I see not a lot of people talking about is scenes. So you go on the side and you create your scenes. And so I'll mix a track one way. So I'll mix a vocal out in front, save that as a scene, create another scene, and then mix the vocal inside the music, save that as a scene, and then create another scene. And then so you can switch between your different scenes and then have all your different mixes of how you had the vocals. So if a client comes back and says, hey, you know, I want to hear my vocals out front a little more. Cool. You don't have to do a save as, create new session, do all that. It's saved as a scene. You just go right to that scene, hit it. It has all the plugins. You can remove plugins. You can do whatever you want in that scene and it will save it. To me, that's genius.
You talking about scenes? Are you talking about like the new version, save version as?
No. So on the side of Studio One, when you hit, I think it's F4, it pops open that side window. There's a scene button and there's a plus under it, and you can hit the plus and it will save your mix as different versions. So it's almost like a save as, but it's right in the same session. It's pretty dope.
I haven't fooled with that yet. I definitely love the you can save different versions, because with Pro Tools you have to save different session files, where Studio One, it's all in one session file. You can just revert back to a previous version. So that's always great if I'm doing like an instrumental or a cappella, clean version, whatever. I can just, it's all in that one session. One of my favorite features, I don't know if Logic does this, but I know Studio One does it. When you bounce something, are you on Windows or Mac?
I'm on Mac.
Okay. If you notice, when you bounce something in Studio One, it pops up in the Finder up front.
Yeah.
I don't know if Logic does that, but I noticed that one day and I was like, man, this is so helpful, instead of having to bounce something and then navigate all through the Finder to get to that folder where the session is, to get that file. I was like, oh, this is nice. Yeah.
I think that's what I like most about Studio One. I can beckon them to the Apple of DAWs. They do some cutting edge things, but most of the times what they do very, very well. And they have this convenience factor about everything that they do in Studio One that just makes them so efficient. And that's what they remind me of, like the iPhone. The iPhone does things that are just convenient and doesn't get in the way. Like once a DAW starts to fight back and get in the way, like you said earlier, Reaper, if I got to go click 6 buttons just to get to what I'm doing, no, because you're gonna need to do something in speedy time, and that's just gonna frustrate you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Studio One does not get in the way. It's just there.
And then I can't say this about any other DAW. PreSonus listens to their customers.
Absolutely,
they listen.
Absolutely.
Good luck with Logic. Good luck with Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Who else is out there?
The closest that might be to Studio One is maybe ImageLine, FL Studio.
Yeah.
But they still do their own thing. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Studio One have like a section to where as a user you can go and recommend certain things and it can get upvoted as a feature?
Yeah, their forum. Yeah, on the forum.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Let's go.
They actually look at that and they will add. And I think they did at one time, but I mean, if I was PreSonus, when they do add new features to Studio One. I would say it like we've added 12 user requested features. That's how I would phrase it, so people know that they are listening. Because I guess maybe the average user may not know that, but I mean that version, that saved version as that I'm talking about, with that feature, when they first came out with that feature in Studio One, you can save different versions, but you had no way at all of knowing what version you were in. My workaround for that was I would make a marker at the start of the session and I would name it Mix 1.6, Mix 1.7. That's the way that I would know. And I was talking to Rick at Presonus and I was like, hey, because to me, I'm not a coder, but it just seems easy enough. When we do different versions, why can't it be at the top of the session? At the top of Studio One, it'll say Studio One, name of your session, and then the version. And he was kind of like, oh, yeah. So they implemented that.
That's so dope. That is so dope. Yeah, you're right. No other dog company's doing that. They're not listening. They're not listening. They're like, hey, buddy, thanks for buying our product. We'll have our people.
Right.
People.
Right. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Touchtone, thank you again for joining us. Of course, I'm gonna have your info in the show notes, so y'all can reach out and keep up with what he's doing. Again, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and don't forget to join the discussion for this episode and more on the Facebook group of Faders Up Podcast. All right, I'm Czar.
I'm Touchtone DSG.
And we will catch y'all next episode.